What's good, y'all? My name is Delonoe, also go by Old News, and I'm an artist based out of Atlanta. And I've joined with Chip to show you guys how I create art using newspaper. I will say that this is a two-part tutorial, and the most important thing that you will need to have in continuing with this is patience. And you'll understand why when we get further into it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, for the first set of materials you will need for the first part of the tutorial would require you to use gloves. This is going to get a little messy, so you want to have some gloves. This will help out in the long run, trust me. You will also want to grab you some Elmer's glue along with some water or Mod Podge. A lot of people prefer Mod Podge because it's already pretty much mixed up. You just apply it onto the newspaper and then apply it to the canvas or whatever product you're using. I'm a little old school, so I like to use the water and Elmer's glue. You will want a bowl to add your Elmer's glue and water into, or your Mod Podge, whatever you prefer. As you see that consistency right there, I'm going to probably add a little more Elmer's glue into it just to make it a little thick. It helps adhere to the canvas a lot better, but you don't want to make it too thick. You want to find that sweet spot in between. Next, you will want to have your canvas. This is a little canvas panel I grabbed from Michael's close by. I believe the size is a 8x10, something close to like notebook paper or something like that. And then last but not least, what you want to grab is your newspaper clippings. As you see, I've already had some ones that are already kind of pre-ripped. And if you would like, sometimes you can just grab certain articles or phrases or words out of there that you want to show and put on the canvas itself. You can do that as well. I've done that with some older pieces, so I feel like it makes the canvas jump out a little more. But yeah, this will be it, the first part of the materials for the first part of the tutorial. So let's go ahead and add this onto the canvas. All right, now that we have everything we need, got the setup together, got my canvas, got my Elmer's glue mixture, got the newspaper clippings and the gloves, of course. Now let's go ahead and get started with the application of the newspapers. All right, now that part one is done, this is where the patience comes in. You want to let your canvas dry for 2 to 3 days. I see that's usually the time frame for it to completely dry of the wetness from the water and the glue. Once those 2 to 3 days go by, your piece should look something like this. As you see, mine isn't as shiny or wet, it's completely dry. I did this sometime last week, so it's good and ready to go. I already put a little design on there. So once yours is done, if you have something you want to sketch over it, you can, or if you want to freestyle, you can do that as well, whatever works for you. For the second part of this tutorial, the materials include the paint, gotta have paint, paint brushes, paint palette to put your paint in, little water cup to dip your paint brushes in to clean your brushes. I use a little paint rag to help dry off my paint brushes. And you can also use Posca markers or just markers in general. I use these for a lot of my line work on some of my pieces, not all of them. If you choose to just use the markers, you can use that as well if you don't want to use any paint for your piece. A lot of people do that as well too. So I will be using both paint and markers, but if you want to just use one besides the other, you can do that as well. So once we got all the materials together, come along with me so we can go ahead and finish this piece. the first part of the tutorial is when we applied the newspaper onto the canvas and you let it dry for 2 to 3 days, leading into the second part of the tutorial, which is when it's completely dry. You can, if you have a design, you apply the design on there, or you can just freestyle and go ahead and start painting. For this, you guys saw the design I had, and this is the ending piece. It's a little comic book panel, a little onomatopoeia. I've been into this for a little while, but yeah, that's it. I might go and do some touch-ups later, but I do want to thank Chip for allowing me to show you guys my art process, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I taught you something. Hopefully you can implement this into your art and your creation. To all my future artists out there, as far as mixed media art, it's pretty much boundless. You can use whatever materials you want onto any canvas you choose. It's pretty much limitless. So yeah, you guys have fun. And again, my name is Delonoe. I go by Old News without the E, OLDNWS. You can look me up, check me out, see some of the future pieces I will be dropping soon, or some of my older pieces. Again, I want to thank Chip for allowing me this opportunity. And yeah, hopefully I can see you guys later. Peace.